All right, this is gonna be just a very short video. I wanna to guide you through my settings because often I see very wrong settings on people I coach, and I think if I actually showed it before, probably we would need to go through it in the first hand, and it already gains you, if you have them very wrong, by putting them right, it gains you a lot of time. So I'm just going to go through them, explain you very quickly if you need to pay attention to it or not. And yeah, let's jump straight into it. I don't have the full screen. I have borderless, windowed borderless, just because it works better with all my HUDs and stuff. Obviously, this depends on your monitor. I disable VSync, the frame limit. I would set it the like not higher, definitely not higher than what your monitor is capable of. Um, Anything else, yeah, depends if you have triple screen or whatever. The resolution scale. This you can play a little bit. You can turn it down for better performance, but then you will see worse, or turn it up if you want more resolution. I just leave it at 100%, works fine for me. View distance, for me, the one setting that I like to have on Epic. Everything else, I think I don't have an Epic, even if my graphics card is quite beefy and allows it. I like to have the high FPS, so this is the only one I have on Epic. The shadows and yeah, I kind of like the shadows, especially the contact shadows. It's like this effect where the cars seem to be floating, so I have it enabled to avoid that. And yeah, just have some mid-high settings for the shadows. I'm gonna be honest, this anti-aliasing thing, anti-AA and whatnot, I have no idea, just left it like that, works. I deactivate the DLSS basically because it has this effect where the movement gets blurry and I don't like. If you have problems with FPS and you don't mind that, you can activate it, or if you have an AMD card or whatever, activate FSR, and that should help with FPS. Then the effects, post-processing, foliage, I have it on low. It's quite taxing on FPS and of performance, and actually it doesn't really help. Like I believe that effects is like the rain and stuff, and if you lower it, um, you will see better actually. The post-processing, it's like, yeah, it says here, right? Sets the quality of post-processing effects such as motion blur and depth of field. Motion blur, you're gonna see later, needs to be deactivated anyway. Foliage, that's what's that? That's the plants, that's the trees. I don't want to see them. Like, I mean, I don't care about the trees. Low, the lowest. I would deactivate it if possible. Have all trees without the leaves. Yeah, then we have texture. I mean, just the mid. I don't know. I just don't want to see shit, but you can play around with that. The mirror is quite taxing. I allow myself to have it on high settings and quite a big distance and 60 FPS and mid resolution and stuff. Play around with that. If you have problems with FPS, you can lower it. Just something that it's still useful for you. Like if you just see a blob there on the mirror and you don't recognize anything, won't help you anyway, so might as well deactivate it. Opponent's visibility, I would recommend to set at least 20. Um, but yeah, the less you set, the less FPS issues you will have, especially at tracks like Nordschleife and stuff. You might want to reduce it. But yeah, this is something like 20, 30, 30. I don't think you need more than 30 really. Um, yeah, and then let's go to this because here is where I see most of the drivers having issues. Yeah, this, well, materials quality, whatever. It says here, Epic setting can significantly impact the GPU performance in every configuration and scenario, so lower it if you are having issues. Uh, this of the temporal upsampling is something I'm not sure. Maybe disabling helps up. I have no idea. But this bloom quality off, always off. It just makes it harder to see, like when the rays of the sun and stuff like that. It just makes it difficult. Same with volumetric fog disabled. Like it's just makes it worse to see and taxes a lot on GPU. Foliage quality, well, that's kind of the same. I don't want to see the leaves of the cars. Fuck it. Car LOD quality, I have it at 90%. You can even lower it further. Didn't really appreciate much of a difference. Um, yeah, and then these two, I have no idea, to be honest. I just left it like that. You can copy it or play around. But this is the next one, motion blur. Disable it. That will never help you. Will never help you. And the others are preferential, but camera dirt effect, I would leave it at 1. That's the minimum. It's basically, it says post-processing effect that simulates a dirty lens in the camera. You don't want to see dirt in your camera, so might as well put it at the minimum. So next is the audio. And the audio, I prioritize the tires. You can see 100%. These are not necessarily the best settings. I once set it, was fine enough for me, left it. Maybe I could tweak a little bit more, but you can see them. Copy them if you want. But for me, basically, the most important is have the tires at maximum so you can hear them. You don't feel them in the sim, but you can hear them pretty well. So put it at the maximum and reduce everything else. Adjust the master, whatever you need. And yeah, basically take advantage of that. The other things, I mean, controls, if you can want to see my settings of the force feedback and stuff, this will depend on how high the torque of your wheelbase is. 35% in my case. I have I think it's 24, 25 Newton meter. And dynamic damping, I have it on 100%, everything on 0, even the steer lock. Why? Because I set the steer lock of each car every time in my wheelbase software. So for example, if I'm in the Aston Martin, I will set 640 degrees in the wheelbase. If I change the car to the Camaro, I would choose 720 degrees in the wheelbase again. And yeah, the same with the brake gamma. If you have a load cell, set it to 1. If you don't have a load cell, you can play around with the brake gamma. And yeah, the gear shift debouncing, I set it a little bit higher because sometimes I had the issue of double shifting by mistake. So I increased the debouncing a little bit. So it's basically, it needs to pass a little bit longer until 2 consecutive gear shifts are accepted by the game. If you put it too high, when you downshift very aggressively, uh, some downshift might not be caught up by the game. So just take that into account. What else do we have? General, what is the general? Yeah, well, I don't know. I just put it here in case you want to see what I have, but doesn't really matter. Assists, this is what I use. The gearbox, obviously manual. The clutch is automatic. I don't think you gain anything by putting in manual, and I don't have, well, I have a clutch in the wheel, but I don't use it. So engine start is manual, which is a little bit faster for pit stops, so I recommend that. Wipers, I set them to manual just because same with lights. I used to, like on some races, I had some issues with wipers. No, actually with wipers, I set it to manual because the minimum setting always, it doesn't matter how much it rains. In this game, the minimum setting allows you to see a little bit better. Like it looks like it rains a little bit less. So there's that. The lights, I set them on manual because once I had an issue in a team endurance event where I got the car. It was at night and my lights were not turning on. It wasn't automatic, but they were not turning on. And yeah, with manual you can at least cycle them and it works. Pit limiter is a little bit faster to have it in manual if you know how to do it. It's not that big of a deal, and especially if you don't have buttons, just put it automatic and forget. And obviously the rest is usually disabled anyway from the server, so don't worry about that. HUD, I might as well just show you, but nothing special there. Just if you want to copy them and have that, you can have that. All right, and that's it, basically. That should be a short video. Hope it helps. And yeah, see you next time in the next coaching video. Bye.